What's good with y'all? How y'all doing, man? This is Mario Mathews coming at y'all with another video. I am the owner operator of Minutes Till Dawn Productions and new author of the book Dream No More: Rise of a Lion. You can find that in stores now at Amazon.com. You can purchase the paperback and the ebook Kindle version. And on Lulu.com, you can actually purchase the hardback version. So the hardback version is dope. So you might want to check that out. All right. So I know I have a few videos now, and I'm starting to post more. But I want to do a quick video of who am I? You know what I'm saying? Like I know I did that intro video, for the channel, but I never really got into who am I and the type of person I am in my background. So I want to, give you guys a quick spiel on that. And so, yeah, let's get into it. So my name is Marrio Mathews, born in New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm one of 6 children, you know what I'm saying? I grew up with my mother and, a stepfather. And then once my mother and stepfather got divorced, she got involved with a new boyfriend. And this was all during my time coming up. Before I was of the age, 17 or 18 when, I made my way into the world on my own. Anyway, in New Orleans, I grew up in the St. Bernard projects. And anybody know about the St. Bernard, to be honest, all over New Orleans, really. Like growing up in the 90s was crazy, boy. Like just so much violence and police, going crazy, corrupt, you know what I'm saying? And drugs, guns, the whole 9 yards, man. I remember going to school with my little brothers and sisters, seeing shotgun shells on the ground. We used to when we was outside playing on playgrounds and stuff like that, we used to play with those things. We didn't even know what they was, but it was there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, it was crazy. I got so many stories, but, just to keep it short, that's the type of environment I grew up in, man. Like, myself, I grew up as a loner type child, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny too because growing up was never a dull moment. All of us kids, man, we was bad as heck, man. You know what I'm saying? We was bad, boy. But you know how it is. Mama did her thing. Stepfather did his thing at the time, so that's what's up. And I was the type of child that, here's the type of child I am, all right? My stepfather one time, he noticed that, this was when I was real young, right? Stepfather noticed I was, just, all over the place. Very energetic child, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, man, like, just with all the work and all these different, avenues that he had to deal with, he was like, man, you know what? I need to find something to distract him because he's all kind of work, right? So what he did was he took his Nintendo Entertainment System, you know what I'm saying, the original, put it on the ground, put me on the ground, gave me a controller, and he said, play. And ever since then, I've been a video gamer, you know what I'm saying? So, I grew up playing stuff like Mario Brothers, it's normal stuff, I suppose. I mean, at this point, millennial. So I'm 30 years old right now, but, millennial. And grew up playing Mario Brothers and game head ever since. And the thing about it is, this sort of, it became a sort of thing where I'm like, okay, now I'm a, more introverted person. You know what I'm saying? I like to keep to myself. I don't really have a lot of friends. You know what I'm saying? And I was not really a fighter at that time. Like, it's that type of thing where, really nerdy kid or whatnot. At the same time, you grew up in the South, so, it's almost like a contradiction. You ever, it's like a contradiction. You're a game head and a nerd, and you watch anime and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But you in the hood where it's grimy. You know what I'm saying? Grimy. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, yeah. So that grime is, it got into you as well. You know what I'm saying? Because I was always the type of person where I could sit down and I could chop it up. I could talk to people and stuff like that. It's just, when I wanted my space, I wanted my space. It was that simple. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, like, growing up, I didn't have that many friends, but the friends I did have was pretty solid. You know what I'm saying? Like a small group of friends, and I kept it like that because it was very solid. And the thing about it is, in middle school, I started to develop a talent where I can, I can draw comic books and create storylines, and I think this talent really developed with me playing video games and stuff like that, right? I always thought to myself, okay, well, I'm sitting here playing this video game, and I'm pretty sure I could do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't program, I can't, do any of that yet, and there was a time in my life where I wanted to do that. However, it's always baby steps. So I started off creating my own comic books. That's how I started. The first comic book. I still got it right now to this day. It's in my grandmother's house, still right now. And once I started doing that, I would show it to my big brother Chris. My shouts out to Chris, bro. I'm name dropping, but my bad, dog. Like, I love you, boy. Anyway, I would show it to Chris, and Chris, he do the big brother thing. He like one up you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, oh, you got this character? Well, I got this character that's way better than him, and he way stronger. He could do anything your character could do, but 10 times better. It's like, man, get out of here with that, man. You playing. So, with that being said, man, like, eventually it evolved where I'm not doing so much drawing anymore or graphic design work, but instead what I'm doing is I'm crafting, entire storylines of like movies and TV shows and stuff like that, right? And by the time I got to high school, I had this, this real tight-knit friends of mine, right? There's only a handful of them. And what we would do is we would get together and we would write, these big time stories that we have that was modeled after, video games and anime, but we wanted to do original stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that felt amazing. I mean, you got to think about it, bro. When I was in high school, man, a lot of the books and stuff that we had was mildew. The schools were old, paint chipping off. Teachers ain't paid well, and they overwhelmed with all these kids per class. And, the curriculum was outdated, and, it was easy. It was easy stuff, but it wasn't engaging. It wasn't challenging. All you were taught to do is just sit there and learn, not much learn stuff, but sit there and listen to some stuff that's probably outdated, or at that point, no, it was outdated. And, it got to a point where it's like, man, like, I mean, I could do this stuff in my sleep, but, it's not what I want to do. What I want to do is this. I want to sit down, write these stories. I want to, share them with my friends and my family and just show them all the great stuff that I came up with and how this, this tight character that I made and this storyline and all of the interactions between the characters and the environment and the character development and stuff like that. It's like, man, bro, I just love doing that. I love doing it. And it got to a point where it's like, well, okay, well, look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to, finish what the teacher wants me to do, finish it real quickly. And then once I'm done with that, I just sit there and write my book or whatever. And I did that. And by the time I exited high school, by the time I was at least middle, in my let's see, sophomore, freshman, sophomore, sophomore year. By the time I was in my sophomore year, I had if y'all know those big binders, those real fat binders that, you know, instead of just open them like that, like you have to like unfold them out. Well, I had 3 big binders full of with stories. Of one story, but they're finished books. 3 books for one story. You know what I'm saying? That is the concept of the Dream No More Rise of a Lion series. It wasn't called that at the time, but that's the concept of that book. You feel me? So that was approximately like 13, 14, like, what was it, like 13, 12 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Man, it is, yeah, time flies, man. And not only that, I finished the movie before too. I have a binder, another binder on the side with a movie that I was writing, you know what I'm saying? And I finished that. So I finished all 4 of those different, you know, projects. I just never published anything. You know what I'm saying? And then my senior year came. Now, you got to understand something. In this point in time in my life, you know, I figured that I got, you know, now that I got a cool set of friends, I got, you know, I'm real, you know, we didn't have any of the support, you know, from school or the community or anything like that. We didn't have no book clubs or anything like that. We did this on our own. We got together every day after school and did our own thing with no support from, you know, no financial support really. I mean, you know, our parents were all for it as long as we, you know, stayed out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, we didn't get any financial backing from anybody, no accreditation from the school or anything like that. This is all our own stuff. But by the time I got to high school, you know, and I'm skipping a couple other events, but I don't need to get into that. But the time I got in high school, Hurricane Katrina happened. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm writing a book on Hurricane Katrina right now. It's very short. Don't worry. It's not going to be too long. And I'm going to get right back to the Dream No More Rise of a Lion series because it's an epic saga. It's not just one story. But I feel that this book is a marker within American history, and the unique perspective that me and my grandmother have with this book, it needs to be told. So that's why I'm taking a moment to, you know, to really work with her in order to get this thing done and nailed down. But by the time I got into my senior year, Hurricane Katrina happened. It was crazy, man. And after everything went down, we eventually relocated to Texas. I graduated high school in Texas. And that was crazy in itself, too. You know, you'll learn more about that in the book. After I graduated, you know, I got into, I thought the next logical step was to go to university or try to get some other form of higher education. I mean, that's what they always tell you, right? As a child in school, hey, you want to be successful? Get your education. It's like, man, okay, all right, cool. I'll do that. All right. And I tried. I tried to do that. I went to DeVry University in order to get a sort of certificate, scholarship in video gaming, simulation programming. That didn't work out. Left me with student loan debt. And at that point, I was working at, what was it? I was working at Best Buy. I was working at Six Flags Over Texas. And I was, you know, essentially trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do next? I got to do something. Just got to figure out what it is. And that's when my cousin Kendall came up to me. Shouts out to Kendall. Love you, boy. But that's when my cousin came up to me. You know, he was living in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at the time. He was like, "Yo, check out this program. It's City Year. You know what I'm saying? It's through AmeriCorps. It's really a good opportunity to give back to the community or whatnot." And I was like, I checked it out. I was like, okay, yeah, it's cool. It's dope. It's a national program. All right, cool. Okay, well, what is it about? So, we looked it up and we was like, all right, well, we could bring this thing anywhere we want. So let's go ahead and see if we can get into the program. And at that point, if we get into the program, we can take this anywhere we want in the country. So we got in and we was like, okay, well, where we want to go? Well, we both wanted to get into the tech industry, and we both wanted to start our lives as adults and, get into university. So we was like, okay, well, what part of the country has, where the tech is going, tech jobs and all that. So we was like, okay, on West Coast it's hot right now. It's either California or it's either Seattle or Washington. So which one we want to go to? Eventually we chose Seattle. So bought a plane ticket, packed all my stuff up. I didn't have that much stuff. I just had a suitcase and a backpack with video games in it. That's it. I didn't have anything else. Like, I packed up all my stuff, kissed the family goodbye. They all the way back in the South. And me and my cousin moved out here to Seattle. Been here ever since. It's been 9 years since. And a lot of things have happened in those 9 years. A lot of learning, a lot of growing, a lot of sacrifice. And, I still got a lot of that to do. And I welcome, people engaging in these type of, in a lot of different type of perspectives. However, there is one thing that is now sort of, solidified within my personality that I am very, very proud of, and that is my principles. What are my principles? I am the descendant of an American slave, okay? I am the black descendant of an American slave. I am the descendant of a group of people who fought in every war, bled, and died. We were the ones that built this country. Not only that, but we were the ones that were taken advantage of in so many different atrocities and discriminatory practices by public, governmental, and private entities that collaborated against black descendants of American slavery and their ancestors. If there is one thing that I am not going to tolerate in this point in time in history, I am not going to tolerate the disrespect and contempt for the sacrifice that my ancestors made, not only for me, but for other people, in order to enjoy the fruits of the labor that they had no control of because of the system of slavery. We demand redress. We demand to be taken not only seriously, but we want the ownership of the production of our labor. And all of the inventions, all of the things that belong to us that we contributed towards or even outright invented ourselves, that belongs to us. And we want it back. That's right. We want it back. That's who I am. And I'm not afraid to say that. With that being said, this point in time in history, man, as you can see, I'm a pretty chill, laid back dude, but I'm not gonna sit here and hold my tongue for anybody. At the same time, I can be respectful, but you ain't go spit in my coffee, all right? You ain't go spit in my coffee and call that creamer. I know that's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? If we are going to be equitable as adults, then I expect of you to come to the table as a man, as a woman, as a business person, and actually do business. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So with that being said, I ain't gonna let this thing run on too long because it's already a pretty long video. But yeah. My name is Marrio Mathews, owner and operator of Minutes Till Dawn Productions. If you want to know more about the company, you can go to minutestilldawn.com. There you can find a link to all the different social media platforms that you can follow us at. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and we're on YouTube right now. Please like, share, and subscribe to this video. Be expecting more content because that is coming to you. That's definitely coming to you. You know what I'm saying? And, with that being said, man, much love, family. Y'all take care. And don't forget, if you like to support, you can always, contribute and go buy that novel, Dream No More, Rise of a Lion, in stores now, Amazon, Lulu.com. All right, y'all. Y'all take care. Be cool.